Hi, I'm Tim May with Acoustic Music Pro. Let's look at the care and maintenance of a mandolin. There are some pretty good products for cleaning. Planet Waves makes a great three-part system for basically getting the mandolin clean, the body clean, and then a polish for kind of keeping it clean and kind of keeping it protected. So they make a good product for that. They also make a cleaning cloth that I like to use, and I'll keep the instrument body clean with it, but I'll also wipe the strings with it pretty regularly to keep those in good shape as well. It really can make a big difference on the life of the string. If you're just starting, to clean the thing and thinking about products to use, I don't recommend using anything if you're not going to use a Planet Waves type product, anything other than water. You can actually use a little bit of water. Make sure you're using a rag or a cloth that's very soft. It won't scratch the finish, and just dry it off very quickly. That's always your best bet, because that way you're not going to be melting the finish or doing anything crazy like that. The biggest enemy that an instrument has is humidity and heat. The rule really is that whatever's comfortable for you is comfortable for your instrument. So you wouldn't want to leave your instrument in a car in the summertime in the trunk with 100-degree heat and that kind of thing. As far as humidity is concerned, we like for it to be around 45 to 50%. That seems to be the healthiest place for it to be for human beings, and instruments like to live there too. If you get too low, if the humidity gets too low, which can happen in the wintertime almost anywhere in the United States, the instrument can actually crack because it shrinks up and it has nowhere to go, and it can crack on you. So that's why you don't want to get it very much below 40-ish or 30. It can get very dangerous. If you get too much humidity, it's almost like soaking it with water, and so things can come apart there too. So just remember to keep that in mind. It really is a big deal, and it has to do with playability as well. A lot of times in the summertime, things will kind of puff up and get a little more moisture, and so the top can kind of puff up and cause your action or your playability of your strings to get a little bit harder to play. In the old days, they actually had a summer and a winter saddle, which is this part, for guitars, and mandolins are made with adjustable bridges, so that's not a problem anymore. But before that, the adjustable bridge was invented, they actually had one for each season, which tells you how much movement there actually is when the seasons change. So humidity is a big deal. Planet Waves makes some really good systems for actually hydrating the instrument and keeping it from drying out. So you can check that out at acousticmusicpro.com. Most things are sort of sponge-like things that basically are just introducing moisture. So there are a few different things you can check out for that. Again, the best thing is to actually have your house humidified, but that can be hard to do a lot of times to keep things very consistent. The fingerboard also can dry out, and it needs some moisture too, and so there's a product called Hydrate that's a blend of oils that you can use to put on the fingerboard, because the fingerboard does not have finish on it. It's really just a raw piece of wood, so it needs to be replenished. It needs to have some moisture added to it every now and then. So keep that in mind, because it can crack, and also the cleaner you keep it, the longer your strings are going to last, because it just dirt builds up over time. So remember to keep that clean as well. As far as the playability of an instrument, when we talk about maintenance, things do change over time. There's a lot of pressure on these instruments, and so a lot of times the neck will pull up. There's just a lot of pressure, on pulling up this nut area here, trying to pull it in this direction, and so the neck will bow up. Well, there's a truss rod. There's just a rod that runs underneath this fingerboard, and it's adjustable here, and that's used to adjust the action and straighten the neck. So a lot of times you may be having trouble in the middle here, around the 7th fret or around in that area. It may be getting hard to play. And what's happening there is the neck is bowing when it's pulling away from the string. So what you need to do is straighten it up so it comes up a little bit more parallel with the string. That's one factor. The other factor is that the nut may get a little high, and the action down here, we call it action, the height of the string above the fingerboard, and playability, we call that action. It may be getting a little bit high here. It's not that the bridge is moving, it's not that the nut's moving, it's the instrument is moving. And so in the drier seasons, everything's going to be lower, and then the more humid seasons, it's going to be a little bit higher. So just keep those things in mind. And so if you're wanting to talk to your repairman about what's going on, or your repairwoman, then just remember that you're always keeping in mind the height of the nut, the height of the saddle, and how much relief is in the neck, which has to do with how that truss rod is adjusted. So maybe at least you can have the lingo down when you talk to him about these things, okay? Because it's a pretty delicate balance between all three. All right? So take care of your mandolin and come see us at Acoustic Music Pro.